Hey guys, and welcome back to my Macho Luco channel. I have a video for you today, and it features a story that is totally unrelated to strange cases of missing people, but it is very comparable to the attitude of authorities commenting on similar phenomena. If you have not heard of the story of the Radium Girls, let me assure you it's a gruesome tale, a type of local reporting for local consumption, which we get a lot in on this channel. The links below feature more information on the story, but the long and short of it is that when a number of young women started to work with a radium-laced paint to add luminosity to clock faces and other dials in the 1920s, and suffered incredible health damage as a result, it took many years for the authorities and corporations involved to admit fault, compensate the victims, while also stopping the use of radium in commercial and household products. In the meantime, throughout the 1910s and 1920s, the order of the day was to continue with the procedure of local reporting for local consumption. Radium was a newly discovered element, and it was just making its way into many products and applications. Discovered in December of 1898 by Marie Curie and Pierre Curie, the element was not properly tested nor understood by scientists at the time for it to be used in any commercial application. The dial painting jobs were well paid and gave a rare opportunity for young women to earn good money, as they were paid by the product, not by the hour. The ladies hired were between 14 and 30 years of age. In the early days of employment, they reveled in being part of a new segment of the economy, while at the same time helping the war effort, as most of the volume of the watches were sold to the US Army. Let us focus on what happened when signs of health problems first emerged and raised red flags. The very first cases of severe radiation poisoning were never given a fair analysis, even though Pierre Curie wrote in 1903, 5 years after discovering the element, that radium used improperly can kill a man. Feel free to read up and watch the details of the devastating element and its story as it applied to the young women and other people in the 1910s and 1920s by clicking on the links provided in the description. But what I'd like to get you to consider is the manipulative tactics that were used back then to hide the truth from the general public. These tactics are the same tactics used today to disparage the superiority of today's electric cars, lie about the harmful effects of tobacco for the longest time in the past, minimize the effects of DDT, as it was reported in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, hide the true worthlessness of mortgage-backed securities back in 2007, conceal the true motive of the 1913 formation of the Federal Reserve System, and yes, deviate the public's attention from the very disturbing circumstances involved in the missing 411 phenomena. Notice that in 2021, the same behaviors are being used by mainstream media, government authorities, and politicians when tough questions are being asked during missing 411 type missing people cases. This video is all about getting you to pay attention to the methods utilized by the authorities to get you to look past the unusual nature of these causes and to get you to go back to Netflix and chill as soon as possible. Here's another very recent example. In August of 2021, August 15th, the Garish family disappeared and was later found dead on a trail in California. It was first treated as a possible hazmat scene, but the longer that the authorities had the bodies, they realized that they could not make any sense of why they died. Dad John Garish, Mom Ellen Chung, 1-year-old daughter Miju, and a family dog were on a day hike just west of the Yosemite National Park boundary. They were found deceased a few miles into Savage Lundy Trail on Tuesday, August 17th, 2021. No details have been released, and don't expect to get any details anytime soon. Just like the 4 men that mysteriously died near Fort Chipewyan on the Rocher River, Canada, in 2017, we'll be waiting for those autopsy results for a while, unfortunately. Let's be honest, human nature is that of a short attention span, looking for most reward for time spent. So keeping that in mind, we have to remember that 95% of those around you read the headlines only. The remaining 5% will read most or half of any article they set their eyes on. And that outcome is exactly what the establishment wants to happen. Stay with me here. I'm talking about more than 2 centuries of the same tactics playing out over and over again in the mainstream media. If you think that the mainstream media has your best interest at heart, I have a bridge to sell you. Really good deal too. Unless and until these tactics stop reaping benefit for the big boys, they will continue as everyday reality for most of us. David Paulides does many things real well in his investigations. In my humble opinion, his most important trait is his tenacity. He will bluntly ask the difficult, uncomfortable questions that are seldom asked in articles, news reports, and search and rescue news conferences. In doing so, asking those same questions to himself first, he uncovered a phenomenon with no clear answer, no logical explanation, and certainly no closure to the families and the victims. Before we conclude, let us look at a summary of how local reporting for local consumption works. Never stick to the uncomfortable facts. When a strange story of a missing person breaks, the articles never focus on the details of the case and the strange pieces of evidence only David Paulides seems to notice, but rather on the broad factoids. You'll hear things like, they were such a picture-perfect family, or the young woman had so much going for her, or the young woman, in a heart-wrenching turn of events. But never, it's still unclear how the victim traveled 17 miles through snow without leaving any tracks while not having any shoes on. Some or all important details are ambiguous, and the reader is almost forced to put the pieces together. The journalist does not dare to ask the direct questions. In the rare event when a particular piece of evidence is made public, such as shoes being found a mile or more away from the victim, there's never any follow-up or any more questions on any test results from the items, or what could have caused the shoes to be so far from the victim. Whenever large distances are covered by the victim, especially small children, 1 to 4 years of age, the distances are always given as the crow flies, and never in the real world cases. And when asked about how a child could cover so much ground in so little time, there's never a straight answer. When friends and family of the missing show up and refuse to leave the search area, they are often disregarded and discouraged. The most important case information is often kept from them. The most egregious examples of this are the 1969 Dennis Martin disappearance in the Appalachian Mountains and the 1999 Jared Atadero case. Very disturbing. When the tracking dogs fail to track the scent, the article will not underscore this as a very strange detail, the news article. Instead, it is looked at as a regular occurrence, as if these dogs always have problems finding a scent, when in fact 80% of the time, when given a source of a scent, the dogs go right away, and they are very enthusiastic about it. Finally, when the coroner findings are promised, they are either never delivered to the public, or, if they are, the conclusion is so ridiculous or vague that even an armchair investigator notices how hopeless these conclusions are. Local reporting for local consumption remains an effective tool for the authorities and mainstream media to reassure, deceive, and confuse the general public, something that David Paulides and myself are trying to stop. The next time you read a story or article about a weird missing person case and you notice the lack of detail provided, ask yourself, was it really that difficult for the search and rescue and reporters to give us the details of the evidence found? Why are we not getting to the bottom line on these cases in the press? Why does David Paulides have many new cases to sift through every single month? What is being hidden under wraps until the present? Please comment below best guess. I truly appreciate your insight, guys, on this perplexing topic. And as an update, as of September 17th, one whole month after the discovery of the bodies on the Lundy Trail in California, we still have no conclusion, no results, and no closure for the Garish family. So just to give you an idea of how persistent this is. Now, money was not a problem in this case, as this family was very well off. They were found within 50 feet of each other. There was no blunt force trauma, no foul play suspected, no visible injuries on the bodies. And you got to ask yourself, if it can happen to them on a simple day hike with a dog and a baby in great health going into it, then it can literally happen to any one of us, guys. So please, once again, thank you for watching. Thank you for spending some time with me, and stay safe out there, and put your comments down below. I'm dying to see what you think about all this. Okay, thank you.